Thank you. Yeah, good morning everyone. Today we'll discuss about the cellular LTE basic configuration, how we do the troubleshooting and what are the show commands that required during the troubleshooting. And we'll go through the some logging procedures and the crash, how to collect the crash dumps. Okay, so whenever we got any cellular LTE case, so we can use this. First of all, cellular works very much similar to our mobile phone, where the device needs to have a NIM controller or a EHP card. Okay, so we have a modular routers like ISR 4K, 1K, 2900, 39 series router, where we can insert the module, this NIM or EHV slot, and we can use modem inside it. Okay. Similarly, we have router integrated routers like 887, 867. Okay, so these are the integrated routers where the device will come up with the inbuilt module, LTE module. Okay, so for each, this modem will basically contain a slot to insert SIM, and there is a port to connect the external antenna. So this basically used for the signal strength amplification. Okay, so apart from it, the cellular module modem requires a separate firmware. Okay, apart including with your normal iOS or iOS XE. Cellular modem supports 80 commands, and there is a reverse telnet feature as well supported. So you can log into this modem and you can run the Linux commands as well. Okay. Coming to the applications of cellular routers are very compact and can be installed in buses, trains, trucks, and other vehicles to provide the data connections. And in this growing world, so these routers are being used for the IoT applications as well. Okay. Uh, let's go into the agenda of today's discussion. So we'll go through the basic configuration of cellular modem. Okay, how we define the configuration in iOS, and we'll see the difference with iOS XA as well. Along with that, we'll see the chart scripts and the dialer watch list command, which we generally used to see in the customer configuration. And next we'll I'll show you what are the show commands that we need to take from the customer whenever customer reports that they are facing issue with the cellular module. Okay, next some basic troubleshooting techniques that required while you are on a call with the customer related to LTE case. Okay, this will be related to, one is the network attach issue, second one is the PDP issue, and the next one, crash dump, how to collect the crash dumps if a cellular modem is going down. And next, DM logging. So this is again a collection of commands when it is a complex issue, in terms like when you can't able to troubleshoot the issue from the show commands or the debug. We used to collect these DM logs and we'll analyze further into the issue. And finally, we'll see like how we configure the dual SIM setup in a cellular routers. Okay. Yeah, so there is a different, a little bit difference between the configuration point of view between an iOS and an iOS XE. Okay, so the first thing is that the chart, we don't require the chart script in iOS XE. Okay, but we need it in the iOS. Okay, and there is a line configuration as well in iOS. Okay, which we don't require in iOS XE. And the common configuration related to both of them is that the cellular interface configuration. Okay, the dialer configurations, and then the IP address negotiators and a dialer in-band configuration. These are common in both the iOS and iOS XE. Along with that, so the default route, and then the dialer list, and then the profile configuration. Okay, so basically when you're checking the configuration, the first thing that you need to check is the profile configuration, second one line configuration if it is an iOS, and then the interface configuration. Okay, controller configuration, and then the static route, and if it is an iOS we need to check the chart script as well. Okay, chart script is just to use for the LTE modem to connect it with your carrier. Okay. So I mean, chart script varies with the technology. Like if you're using a 4G technology, the chart script will be like this LT80 call timeout 30. Okay. Okay. So it differs with the technology as well, and these are the default chart script that we use to configure it on the device. Okay. Apart from that chart script, so you don't find actually I have not updated the dialer watch configuration here. So apart from the normal configuration what you see in the first slide, so we have something called the dialer watch list. So this is like whenever your modem went for a what you call when it went down and came up again. Okay. So what happens is that this dialer watch list will trigger it. Okay. It will see the route that we configure. Suppose the dialer watch list one I configure like 1234255255255. Okay. It will check for this IP address. It will check for that route in the routing table. Okay. If it is not there, then it will start trigger the dialer into the dialing out the chart script in order to bring the interface to up state with an IP address. Okay. So by default, the cellular interface will be always in up with spoofing. Okay, I will show that in the lab as well. Okay, so if you want to get the IP address, we need to trigger the traffic. Okay, for that we need to use this dialer watch list. Okay, so the next thing is the debug commands that we use generally to troubleshoot the cellular issues. One is the debug chart, debug dialer, debug modem. Okay. Coming to the show command, so this is the important command that we used to take from the customer whenever they're facing issue with their cellular module. Show cellular the modem and then all command. So this will give all the information related to the cellular modem. Apart from that, we need to take the radio history as well, so which is very important. Like a customer used to complain that I mean my modem got disconnected few hours back, and when we join the call we won't see that issue. Okay, is that like during that time, so he receive, I mean the RSSI signal is low and he faced the issue, after that it got resolved. Okay, so that shows cellular the interface and then radio history all command. So this is also one of the important command that we need to take from the customer. Okay. Okay, so basically we troubleshoot two types of issues in the customer network related to this LTE. So one is the network attach issue. Okay, so it's like our modem is not attaching to not able to attach to the network. Second, it is attached to the network but it can't able to ping the IP address. Okay, the ping fails or it can't able to get the IP address from your carrier. Okay, so how we do a troubleshooting in terms of network attach issues. Okay, so suppose if a modem is not, a cellular unit is not attaching to a cellular network. Okay, we used to take this command called show cellular and the cell unit and then the network command. So under the current service status, we should see the status should be normal. Okay, so you can see here, and the service error is none. So the way that you're looking this output will changes from iOS to iOS XE. Okay, it's not always be like this. It will changes from iOS to iOS XE. Okay, so this output is taken from iOS. Okay, so you'll see that the current service status as normal and there is no service error here. So none. So when it is not attaching, you'll find something like this. The current status is emergency only, or current service is invalid, and then you can see like this. Okay, and also you can see this packet service which is none here, and on the top you can see, I mean the working scenario you can see it as an attached. Okay, so what I mean what we do when we see like the service is emergency only and we are not, I mean the current service as invalid. Okay, first we need to check in the device whether the device is getting enough signal on the device. Okay, so enough signal in the sense we need to check the RSSI level. Okay, what is the RSSI level that we are seeing in the modem right now? So we can use the command show cellular unit and then the radio. Okay, so this will give the signal, what is the signal that we are getting in the device. And you can see the radio history all, which will give the history of the radio's RSSI value for last 60 minutes and 72 hours as well. Okay. So if they are facing some issue, if customer is facing issue with the signal part, okay, we can ask customer to till they to firmly attach their antenna or tilt their antenna to the to which like they will receive the signal. Okay, if customer is not using and is not using the antenna at all and they are receiving very low RSSI value, okay, we'll suggest customer to use antenna. Okay, and sometimes we'll ask customer to adjust the antenna position. Okay, and apart from it we need to check the show cellular and then the net unit and then hardware, and the modem status should be always online. Okay, if you don't see this, okay, it indicates that the your modem is not online right now and it can't attach to the network. Okay, so once you check the modem and then the attached modem status, everything, so the next thing you need to check is the sim status. Okay, so how we come to know if you have a valid sim is inserted in the device. Okay, like we in the mobile phone, how we come to know if it is a valid sim? So we'll check the IMSI number. Okay, so for each SIM we'll have an IMSI number. Okay, which is a unique number. So we'll check in the device whether the SIM status is okay right now. If it is okay, so what is the IMSI number for that SIM? Okay, so we can use these commands like show cellular unit and then security to check the SIM status, and show cellular unit and the hardware to get the to know what is the IMSI number of the SIM. Okay. Next one. Next is that yeah. So everything is fine. I mean, the we don't have any network attached issues, but still customer says like I'm not getting the IP address or the ping fails. Okay. So it's like we need to check the profile configuration. While once we check the modem part, okay, then we need to go for the SIM check. If both are done, then we need to go for the data profile check. Okay, so we need to verify whether the data profile is configured properly or not. I mean whether the APN is configured with the correct username and then uh, username and then password. Okay, if everything is fine at our end, okay, still customer says that I can't get the IP address, we used to take the debug command, and sometimes issue can be at the service provider end as well. Okay, so in that case we'll ask customer to reach the carrier like whether the SIM has been provisioned correctly or not. Okay, we ask customer to verify the account provisioning. Okay, uh, along with that, if it is an iOS, okay, so we need to verify the chart script as well along with the data profile. Okay, yeah, so this is the basic what you call the flow chart, how we troubleshoot the LTE cases. Okay, so we'll check the configuration. If configuration like we'll check the configuration. If everything is fine, we'll go for the modem check. If modem check is fine, we'll go for the SIM check. If SIM check is also I mean the it is an valid SIM, then we'll go for the checking the radio level. Okay, I mean the RSSI level in the antenna. Okay, and then whether the profile is configured correctly or not. Okay, this is how we basically troubleshoot the LTE issues. Okay, yeah, before going into the crash dump, I'll just show you in the lab like whatever we still discuss, right? So I'll show it in the lab. Okay, yeah, I hope you can see my secure CRT screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So this is a yeah, CSR 117 router, and it is running on the iOS XE version 17.6.1. Okay, so first, I mean whether this device has a cellular module or not, that we can check using the show platform command. So here you can see that this router has an LTE. Okay, so there is a module present for the LTE. Okay, So if you want to check what is the modem present, or see, basically for LTE we have a module. Along with that, inside the module we have a modem as well. Okay, we need to know what is the modem that is being used. Okay, for that we need to use. You can use the show inventory. That is one of the command, or you can use the show controller as well. Okay, so I'll show both the commands. Okay, if I use the command show inventory, you can see here there is a modem on cellular 020, and it is here wireless EM 1455 and 1430. Okay, so this is the model this is the model of our cellular modem. Okay, you can see the serial number as well. Okay, so you can see the same thing using the command to cellular. Yeah. Okay, so okay, here is just giving about the LTE part. Okay, yeah, here it is. Yeah, this is, you can see that modem. What is the modem that is being used under this show controller cellular 020? Okay, it is Sierra Wireless EM 1430 modem. Okay, so first thing, I mean, whenever you went on a call, first thing we need to check under the show platform whether it is showing OK status. Okay, the module that we are using. Okay, next we need to check the inventory, like whether this modem is showing under the inventory, because for some of the customers it's like the modem has been inserted properly but they won't see it under the inventory. Okay, first thing we need to check the show platform about the module and then the modem status. Okay, after that, uh, so the basic command that we use is that show cellular 020, and then we use the all command, right? So I'll use the same command. I'll explain this. I'll explain step by step what we see in the all command. Okay, so the first thing is that the hardware information. Okay, so in this hardware information we'll come to know what is the firmware that is being used in the modem. Okay, it's 224050. This is a firmware version. Okay, as I already said before, apart from your iOS and iOS XE uh, version running on the device, so this modem requires an additional firmware. Okay, so this is what the firmware, and you can get the device model from show cellular 020 all as well. Okay, yeah, so this is what I'm saying. If your sim is a valid sim, okay, so you will get an IMSI number here. Okay, so under the hardware information, the important thing that we need to check is the IMSI number. Apart from that, IMEI number, which is related to your modem. Okay, so this is a unique number that will be assigned to each and every modem. Okay, uh, yeah. So in under the hardware information, along with IMSI and IMEI, so we can check the modem status. Okay, so this should be online every time. Okay, if you see something like modem offline, okay, so you need to check whether the modem has been inserted properly. Okay, we need to go for a power cycle sometime. Okay. Okay, so the important thing that we can check under the hardware information is the three things. One is IMSI, IMEI, and then the modem online status. Okay, the firmware version as well. Okay, so next, okay, so after the hardware information, we have something called profile information. Okay, so it's like creating an APN. Okay, suppose you are connecting to your Airtel. You're using Airtel SIM. If you want to connect to the Airtel service, so we need to have an APN, access point name. So we configure that. If you have any authentication, we'll configure the username and the password and the type of authentication. If you don't have any authentication, we'll just configure the profile and the authentication as well. Okay. So the default profile is profile one. Okay, it will automatically attach to your controller. Okay, if it is a default, I mean, if you do the changes to the default profile. Okay, if you're doing something, if you're configuring something like profile 2 or profile 5, something like that. Okay, and if you want to attach that profile to your slot, okay, you need to give the specific command called attach profile. Okay, like LTE sim, and then data profile, attach profile, and then the slot. Okay, If you are doing any changes to your profile one, okay, so no need to give this command. Okay, that the reason is that the default profile that the sim will take is that profile one only. Okay, and here you can see the active sim is sim 1, so that means basically this modem contains two sim slot. Okay, you can insert either the sim in sim 0 slot or sim 1 slot. Okay, in this scenario the sim is inserted in the sim 1 slot. Okay, I'll show you where to check this whether I mean in which slot the sim is present. Okay, yeah, coming to the data connection information, once you okay, so if suppose you have something configured profile 1 under the profile information, so that status should be seen as an active. Okay, under the data connection information. Okay, you'll see that what are the data transmitted, packets received uh, in this profile information. Okay, next thing is that the network information. Okay, so this is very important. This hard for the first thing is the hardware information, second thing is the network information. Okay, so we used to come from this whether the current service is packet switch and then the current service status is normal. Okay, if you're not seeing these things, okay, like the normal status, that means there is something related to network attached. Okay, you need to troubleshoot based on that. Okay, and yeah, so once it is attached, you can see the MNC, MCC, okay, mobile network code, mobile country code. Okay, and then the network type. Okay, and then the network selection mode is automatic. Yeah, so we can see the PS state as well, which is attached. Okay, we should see this one. Okay, so in the network information, the important thing that we need to check is the current service status. Okay, and then the packet PS state. Okay, yeah, coming going further, we have called radio information. Okay, so this radio information will give the current RSSI level. So right now this modem is receiving an RSSI value of minus 39 dB. Okay, yeah, so this ranges will differ. Okay, if it is less than minus 65 dBm, that means you're getting excellent signal. Okay, like if it is minus 65 to minus 75, it is good. Okay, and then minus 75 to minus 85 till 90, okay, it is fair enough. Okay, after that, that means you're getting poor signal. Okay, so in that cases we will ask customer or we suggest customer to use antennas if they are not using. Okay, to get the better RSSI value. So what happens if the customer is still running with a bad RSSI? This modem starts going into down state, and like you can see the cellular interface starts flapping. Okay, and then here you can see under the radio information, apart from the RSSI value, the important thing is that the radio power mode. So this should be again online. Okay, so we can do radio power mode as off as well. So I'll show that how to do as well. Okay, so the current LTE band it is getting is at 40. Okay, and again we have something called RAT preferences. Okay, this is here it is in auto state, but we can change this to our required technology. Like we can select this to GSM or UMTS, whatever the technology we prefer, we can select. If you put it in auto, so based on the signal strength, it will based on the signal what is getting in that location, it will choose that RAT what do you call the technology, right? So if you go to area like similar to our mobile phone, if you go to an area where there is no 3G or 4G, so our mobile fall back to 2G. Okay, so this is what actually happens with the modems as well. Okay, if they don't find any 3G or 4G signal, they will fall back to your GSM, which is your 2G. Okay. Yeah, okay. So this is all about the radio information. Going down further, we have something called modem security information. Okay. So this is again an important thing that we need to check whether the which SIM is in active state and what is the SIM status. Okay. So here we can check like what is the SIM status and which SIM is in active right now. Okay. Next one is a cellular firmware list. So we have a different carriers for, I mean, different firmware for different carriers, which we can find in the CCO page. Okay. For generic, we'll use a separate firmware like that. So this what this modem is using the generic firmware, generic carrier firmware. Okay, so we can see the status as active for this one. If it is for Australian customer, they mostly use the Telstra. Okay, so you can see active for here for those customers. Next one, you can see whether GPS is enabled for this modem. Okay. Next one, you can check the SMS information, like what are the SMS that you got to this thing. Okay, outgoing SMS information. Okay, so yeah, here you can see like if you enable some crash dump, right? Okay, so that I'll come up next. So it will show you here like if there is any logging on at present. So right now there is no crash dump logging, so it will be in off state. Okay, when we enable it, so it will show as on state and it will show the path. Okay, where it is storing the crash dump. Okay, so next, okay, apart from this configuration, cellular 020. I use the command all before, right? So instead of all, I'll use the radio and then I'll use the history all. So what this command will give, like it will give the history of the RSSA value. Like in our iOS XE platform, we use show process CPU history, right? The similar fashion. Okay, if you want to check the RSSA value for the last 60 seconds or the last 60 minutes or the last 72 hours, we can use this command. Okay, so this is the, like for the last 72 hours. Okay, so 60 minutes. Okay, so as I said earlier, like customer reported an issue, and after that, when we join the call, we are not seeing. Okay, it can be reason like during that point in time. Okay, maybe customer got poor RSSA value because of that modem went down and came up again. Okay, okay, there can be a possibility as well. So this information will help us. Okay, to understand what happened during that point in time. Okay, so next I'll show you. Earlier I said that which SIM is active and what are the and which what customer currently using. I mean, which slot customer is currently using. Okay, so we can use a command called show controller cellular 020. Okay, so once we press, okay, so here yeah, you can see here this is one thing that we need to see as a valid. Okay, if you don't see this as a valid, that means the modem has not been recognized properly. Okay, sometimes we need to go for a power reload or a modem power reload, or sometimes we need to reseat the modem. Okay, and then you can see the uplink downlink speeds as well for the modem. Yeah, so here you can see the cellular dual SIM detail. Okay, so we have a two slots. This is a SIM 0 is always the primary. Okay, I mean by default it will consider it as a primary. If there is no SIM present in the slot tray 0, so it will take the tray 1. I mean SIM 1 is now the SIM is inserted in tray 1, so that's why it is showing as SIM 1 is present and the active SIM is active SIM is the SIM 1. Okay, if suppose there is one more SIM in the SIM 0, I mean the tray 0, it will show that SIM 0 is the active SIM. Okay, so what I mean, I have two SIMs inserted. If customer want to make SIM 1 as the primary. Okay, so for that we have a command call. We can go to the config mode under the controller cellular 020. Okay, so we can use LTE SIM primary, and now it will ask for the slot. Okay, so the slot basically it will be 0 or 1. Okay, so by default the slot 1, which is your tray 0, will be sorry, slot 0, which is your tray 0, will be considered as the primary. If you want to change that to the tray 1 or the slot 1, then you can use the command called LTE SIM primary slot 1. Okay, like it happens with customers, like whenever they are not able to attach, okay, attached to the carrier. Okay, in sim in tray 0, we'll ask customer to change this sim to the tray 1. Okay, to check whether this is really issue with the sim tray or it is a issue with the mode. Okay, so this is one of the troubleshooting that we'll that we do with the customers, okay, whenever they raise the cases, okay. Yeah, so this one. And second thing, by default, as I said, the data profile one, okay, will be attached to your primary slot, okay, or whichever the active slot. If you want to change that, the same command, we can go to the control configuration and then the LTE, and then we can use the command sim data profile, and we can, if suppose you have configured something called data profile 5, okay, you can give the data profile, okay, and we can use the attached profile. So sometimes customers use data profile and the attached profile are same, okay. If they have a different profile, they can change it here, okay. So the attached profile is like they, if they want to attach to the network, this profile is being used for the data communication, okay. This data profile is being used, okay. And we need to, we can set for for which slot, in the sense, as I already told, we have two slots, tray 0 and tray 1. If the sim is inserted in tray 0, now the active one is the tray 0, slot 0, okay. So it's like we can, for a dual sim setup, okay, we can set a different profiles for slot 0, and we can set a different profile for slot 1, okay. Suppose I have a dual sim modem, okay. In one modem, in one sim tray, I can use Airtel. For the second one, I can use Vodafone or VI, okay. And I can use a different profile for both the slots, okay. But at a time, only one will be active, like what we see in our mobile phones, right? So we can able to attach to the network only one sim at a time, right? Similarly, the failover happens if one of the if one of the slot goes down or it can't attach to the network, okay. Okay, so this is about the show commands, okay. If you have any queries, you can ask me. Okay, so I'll move to the next part of the presentation. Okay, so these are the next agenda. Okay, the next item is that the crash jump. Okay, so it's like customer says that they are seeing that modem is going down or the modem is getting crashed. Okay, so in those cases, what we'll ask customer, we'll ask customer to run the modem crash dump, okay, in the device. We can use the em script as well for this one if customer is not seeing the issue at this point in time, okay. And if they are seeing it at regular intervals, so we can trigger an em script with this syslog, and whenever they see this is syslog, this command will trigger, and it will collect all the crash dump file, okay, and it will get stored in the boot flash or flash, okay. So again, as I said, in the as I show you, so you can see whether the cellular right now it is collecting any modem crash dump files or not, okay. So you can use this command, so I'll show it here. So cellular 020 log. Okay, so you can see here right now the modem crash dump logging is off, okay. So once you enable this command, right, so under it you'll see that the modem crash dump logging is on, and it will show the path where it is getting stored, okay. So right now we are not analyzing this crash dump, okay. So we'll take the help of BU to get this analyzed, like what is happening in the device, okay. We don't have any tools at this point in time to analyze this crash dump, okay. The next thing is that DM logging. Okay, so this DM logging, as I said earlier, okay, so if something that we can't able to troubleshoot using the show commands or the debug command, okay, we'll ask customer to take the DM logging. So DM logging will capture all the logs related to your signaling. Okay, like you'll get the A to Z logs related to signaling. Okay, so we have a tool called dm.cisco.com. So once this DM logging is enabled, so it will collect the logs and it will get stored in your boot flash or the path that you have specified. Okay, so we need to take out from the device and we need to analyze this. Okay, so using this tool dm.cisco.com, once we upload this file, okay, you'll get a .txt file where we can see that there is where in the .txt file we can see like each and every log related to this attachment, like the router is sending the attached request and the carrier is responding. Okay, so everything we can see it. Okay, for this also, once you what you call once you extract this text file, okay, using the DM logs, okay, you can take help from the BU if you can't analyze these logs. Okay, DM logs. Okay, yeah, coming to the last part of this today training. So this is a dual sim setup. Okay, as I showed you in this one. Okay, so you can see here. So this is a dual sim setup. I mean, the modem is a dual sim modem. Okay, you can insert two modems, two sims. Okay, there is a tray 0, slot 0, and slot 1. Okay, so if in that case, what happens? I mean, a customer want to use failover scenario. Like if one of the uh, service, I mean, if one of the carrier goes down, okay, then they want to switch back to the other carrier. Okay, so in this case the configuration will be a little bit different. Like you'll have the two routes pointing, one pointing to your primary, another point to secondary. Okay, similarly the dialer list as well. Okay, and yeah, as I said earlier, we can have the data profile and the attached profile different for different slots. Okay, so slot 0 we can have a different a data profile and attached profile, and then slot 1 we can set a different one. Okay, okay, as I said, the slot 0 will be the default and the profile 1 will be the default. Okay, if you want to change it anything apart from this slot 0 or profile 1, so we can specify this command. Okay, else by default it will take those profile 1. And again, as I said earlier, so we can change the primary slot as well. Okay, so you don't want slot 0 as primary. Okay, then we can use this command to shift our primary connection to your slot 1. Okay, so these are the important links. Okay, you can use it during the troubleshooting. Okay, yeah, thank you. If you have any queries, yeah, you can please ask. Guys, I'm audible, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, team, any queries that you have on cellular, anything that you want to discuss, maybe?
Also, Soumya, if I missed anything, you can add to that.
No, it was good. It was good.
So, see, whenever next time when you got any case related to a cellular, you don't need to worry. So there are very little command that we can capture in the customer and analyze. Okay, it's very easy to solve this case. Okay, only is that we need to check the firmware, modem status, SIM status. Okay, and then if everything is good, okay, we can for the debugs to check whether the SIM has been successfully provisioned with the carrier. Soumi, I think you can stop the recording.
Sure.